Welcome to Daily Timothy Time. My name is Carl Coates, and it's a privilege, pleasure, and an absolute joy to be with you once again with an open King James Bible. Today, Saturday, the 17th of May, 2025. Here in Norway, it's the National Day. It's 17. Mai. It's if you were an American, this would be the 4th of July. It's a big deal here. All the folks are dressing up in their bunards, which is their traditional dress, and it's a major thing. It's a major day, and it's wonderful to see because we're celebrating the customs of this land, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, folks. To the reading, we're in 1 Corinthians chapter 8. 1 Corinthians chapter 8, and we're going to pick up from verse 10 and go down to the end of the chapter. Just know beforehand, like I said yesterday, we're dealing with the principle of liberty here. Also, time does not allow us to do some exegesis and proper deep dive study here. So this is the commentary you're going to get today is very, very plain and basic. However, it is very important for you and I to understand and get a grasp of what Paul is saying. So let's get a reading. Chapter 8, verse 10. For if any man see thee which hast knowledge sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols? And through thy knowledge shall the weak brother perish, for whom Christ died. But when ye sin against the brethren, and wound their weak conscience, ye sin against Christ. Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend, I will eat no flesh while the world standeth, lest I make my brother to offend. The issue of liberty. Come with me over to Galatians chapter 5. Galatians chapter 5, if you will. Paul writes in Galatians chapter 5, which is the next two books on from where we are. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ has made us free. Folks, we have this freedom, we have this liberty, and it's a wonderful thing. However, with liberty comes responsibility, if I can say it like that. And in chapter 8, where we've just read here, you've got if you sit in the idol's temple and eat the meat, and a weaker brother comes along, remember the weaker brother, where do we learn about that? Over in Romans chapter 14. Romans chapter 14, verse 1. Him that is weak in the faith receive ye not to doubtful disputations. What does weak in the faith mean? It means somebody that's just been saved, somebody that 1 Corinthians would say is a babe in Christ. They're still suckling on the milk. They haven't matured yet as a Christian, which begs the question, how does a Christian mature in this dispensation of grace? Well, I submit to you, gentle listener, it's reading and studying Romans through to Philemon. That's God's design for our edification laid out in the scriptures for us. Remember, Romans through Philemon, that is God's design. That is not the order that the books were written. Canonically, it's correct, but the books were not written in that order. So hence, if you want to build up your inner man, and that's what you should be aiming for, come with me to Ephesians, if you will. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 18. The eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that ye may know what is the hope of his calling, and what is the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the saints. If you come down to anyway, time's running out. So you get what I'm trying to say. So the weaker brother, when he sees someone eating in the temple, his conscience gets wounded, and that's not a good thing. Anyway, folks, I see time's run out for today. If you want to study 1 Corinthians out in depth and get a better understanding of it, go along to shorewoodbiblechurch.org. You can also go to butnow.org. And there's many other websites you can go to, but try those two for now. Check it out, and you'll be able to get some teaching on that. It's really important that we grasp what Paul is trying to tell us in 1 Corinthians. Wherever you are around the world, thank you for listening today. Please share this in your socials, and remember to keep your sword sharp, soldier. Till we meet again tomorrow, if the Lord tarries, grace and peace to you from God the Father. Maranatha.